accident. Okay, so you can be an eyewitness and you can say the things that you saw in an event, crime, or an accident. For example, the news reporters questioned John Smith, who witnessed the vehicular accident. Witness. And finally, wreckage. W-R-E-C-K-A-G-E. Wreckage. W-R-E-C-K-A-G-E. This refers to the remains of something that has been badly damaged or destroyed. For example, the wreckage was hauled away to make way for the oncoming traffic. Wreckage. Now, in this video, there is one incorrectly spelled word in the video. Can you find it? All right. What is up, everyone? Hope everyone is doing really good today. Right. Okay. So I was just playing the video with the spelling master right there. And hope everybody is hearing me. If you could hear me, put 111 in the chat. If you could hear me clearly, put 111 in the chat. Right. Okay. Just doing a sound check right now. Awesome. So we are doing a language arts masterclass this morning, and we did, I believe, 3 live classes, live Saturday classes for poetry. 3 live classes for grammar, 2 for poetry, and today we're actually going to look at the graphic. Some people call it the graphic representation. Okay, so if you guys could hear me, put 111 in the chat. Okay, I want to make sure everybody's hearing me clearly. All right, okay, cool. So today we're looking at the graphic representation, and this is just a little overview of your English language arts exam for the SCA exam. There are 6 tasks. You're gonna get spelling, punctuation, and capitalization, then grammar rules. Okay, that could be your section 1. And then you have a reading comprehension, thanks Leandra, a poetry, and then a poem to study, and a graphic representation. And today is very, very fun because we're going to look at the graphic representation today. Right? Now, a little bit about the graphic representation. This graphic is a visual, it's a picture, right? And it is visual communication. There are going to be some words, but most of the time they're going to give you an illustration or a picture, and you need to discern and understand what you are seeing in that picture. So this can be called visual communication, right? Visual communication. So I'm now going to talk a little bit about the advantages of visual communication. We see it everywhere. We see it in television, magazines, books, advertisements. Sometimes you drive along the highway and you see a picture showing some product or someone advertising some product, and all that would be classed as a visual communication. We're going to talk about why it matters, right? So some of the advantages of visual communication of pictures. First one would be that it gets the attention of the participants. It gets the attention of the participants. So if it's an attractive picture with someone smiling, or someone having a lot of action, doing something exciting, or it's something with many colors and it's very colorful, your eyes would want to look at it. Okay? It's very, very visually attractive or visually appealing, and you would want to look at it, right? Also, visual representation or graphic representation should be easy to follow. And the best ones are easy to follow, right? They also give a simple presentation. They may have some words, but not many words. Okay. Participants feel more engaged, especially if they could relate to what they are looking at, right? And instead of reading and trying to understand, okay, it is way easier to explain or put things in perspective, right? Okay. I'm going through this very quickly so you could pause the video or look at this live again. Visual representation or graphic representation, right? These are very easy to remember. As a matter of fact, you could probably take a picture with your phone and save it. Or if you're looking at something on your phone, you take a screenshot of it and save it for later. You know what I mean? Right? And of course, it helps in oral communication. So you could easily talk about it, right? It's very, very simple subject matter. So these are some advantages of visual or graphic representation. Right? Great. So now I put this here because this would be found in the SCA syllabus, and this is established until the year 2023. Okay, so you can pause the video and have a read. This is taken directly from the SCA syllabus, right? From their website. Right? And this would be the marking rubric for the fiction or non-fiction, which would be your comprehension, your poetry, and your graphic. And this refers to the allocation of marks. All right, okay. So you can check back at this. You can rewatch this video and look at that information there. Okay, guys. So let's get into our graphic today. All right, so as you can see, I am on task 6. I'm on task 6, right? Right, which would be the last task in your SCA language exam, right? So let's look at this. It says, read the Lookout Hill flyer below and answer questions 39 to 43. I'll read that again. Read the Lookout Hill flyer below and answer questions 39 to 43. So flyer refers to like a poster or something that is easily shared. It is a graphic representation. So we're going to look at Lookout Hill. We're going to have a look at Lookout Hill, but we're not just going to look at the picture, right? I'm trying to get the entire picture for you guys, right? So I want you now to have a look at this, right? I want you now to have a look at this, and I'm giving you guys, well, let's look at it together, right? Let's look at it together, right? Because it's a public call, right? So we have the title here, Lookout Hill. You have the picture of a butterfly. You have the picture of a sun. What is this a picture of? Can you guys see that? What is this a picture of? That's a picture of a what? This item, this object at the top there. What is that a picture of? Can you tell me what that is? So yeah, it says Lookout Hill, a hike full of adventure. A hike full of adventures. So we have, I guess this would be like a map. This would be an aerial view. We have Frog Creek. We have the picnic area right here. We have Old Rock Fort. That reminds me of Fort George in Trinidad, kind of. We have a Lookout Hill Station. We have a tree. Interesting tree there. Nothing is written there. Okay. We have some swans. We have a mallard duck. Okay. I don't think this is a Trinidad Lookout Hill, right? Okay. So someone said it's a scarp. Do you mean scope? Is that what you mean? Someone says it's a log or the item at the top. Okay. All right. Okay, we'll get back to that. So you have some birds here. So this would be the bird sanctuary. Many different species of birds. What else do we have? We have the, but what does this not, what does this N represent? What does this N represent here? We have an N and we have a picture of a compass. What does N represent on a map? You guys, when you see N pointing up on a map, what does N represent on a map? All right, you can tell me in the chat, let me know. We have start roots here. Start roots here, okay. So if we're starting here, I guess we would continue on in this direction and walk past the bird sanctuary, right? And we would get in a place where we could either go right, telescope. Yes, excellent. It's a telescope. So if you go right, we're gonna be finding ourselves at the Lookout Hill Station or Old Rock Fort. If you go left, that's gonna take us to Frog Creek and the picnic area, right? So we're getting accustomed to the image, okay, right? Also, there is a map, okay? We need to acknowledge the map, okay, all right? So it says, let me zoom in on this for you guys to see. It says route name, route, time, level, and description. I'll read that again. It says route name, route or route, time, level, and description. So the bird walk, right, is this line with the bars here. These lines with the bars here. And that would be found around the bird sanctuary. So if you wanted to take the bird walk, right, you'll be walking along this line here, as shown there. And the map also corresponds to that. Okay. Now it will take you, it says here in time, an estimated 2 hours to walk this. Right? So this arrow says if you want to take a walk, right? You're talking about the lines in the diagram now. If you look at the lines here around the bird sanctuary, right? That will take you approximately 2 hours to make that walk. They also talk about the level. So it says that if you would take the bird walk around the bird sanctuary, it would be easy. This refers to the level of difficulty of a hike or level of difficulty of the walk. So I don't know if any of you have ever been on a hike before, but there are many hikes in Trinidad actually, right? Many hiking trails, I should say. And some of them are fairly easy, some of them are medium difficulty, some of them are quite difficult, and you really need to be fit and prepared to do them, all right? So from the map, it says that the bird sanctuary walk is really easy and you have access, well, wheelchair access. That means if someone is in a wheelchair, they can't go on that walk, right? There's some people maybe on a wheelchair. So if you want to go to the bird sanctuary and you're in a wheelchair, you can, okay? A little bit of the description of the bird sanctuary walk or the bird walk, right? It says it's a loop around the bird sanctuary. So if we go and start here by this arrow, right, we will be walking this way around the bird sanctuary. It's going to take us 2 hours. There is wheelchair access. It's an easy walk, right? Okay, and that will be our walk around the bird sanctuary. All right, it's a loop around the bird sanctuary. Awesome. Now, let's look at the lookout station hike. Let's look at the lookout station hike. So if you want to take a hike to the lookout station, that is represented by these white bars, okay? Now, I don't know based on your device if you can see that, but I see some very white bars taken here, right? So that will correspond to the map. If I go onto the map and I see a trail made with white bars, well, yeah, those are my white bars here. And that would be the hike to go to the Lookout Hill Station. So the map, right, shows you and directs you onto the larger image. It helps you navigate through the larger image, right? So the white bar trail, that would be the hike to the Lookout Station. You would start here, as shown by this arrow, and you would hike up this trail here and find yourself at the Lookout Hill Station. Let's talk about that hike. Now, from the map, it says, for time, it's going to take 2 to 2.5 hours each day. So if you were to take a hike to the Lookout Field Station, that would take you approximately 2 or 2.5 or 2.5 hours to do that hike. All right. Level, it says hard, right? It's a hard hike. So it's a hard hike to go to the Lookout Field Station. You can see that they did not write wheelchair access. So if you are in a wheelchair, right? If you are in a wheelchair, you would not be able to go to the Lookout Station hike. Well, to the Lookout Station, right? Lookout Hill Station. You're not going to be able to go on that hike, right? Not N-O-T-H. Did you spell that wrong? Try to spell correctly, right? Okay. Let's look at the description for the Lookout Station hike. You climb, right? So it says climb Lookout Hill and see the view. So that's the description. That is describing that hike. You are describing that hike. So you are climbing Lookout Hill and you're going to see the view. So again, if you want to take the Lookout Station hike, it's going to be the white bars shown on the map. It's going to take you 2.5 hours each day, right? Well, 2 to 2.5 hours each day, depending. Right? It's going to be a hard hike to do, no wheelchair access, and you will be climbing Lookout Hill to see the view. So that would be if you decided to take the Lookout Hill Station hike. That would be this hike here. It looks really rough though, to be honest. I imagine that there's a lot of twists and turns, right? And you are going uphill. So it's a pretty difficult hike. A pretty difficult hike. And it says here, choose your route, by the way. Choose your route. Okay. All right. Do we know the meaning of route? Do we know the meaning of route? What is the meaning of route? Write for me the meaning of route in the chat. What is the meaning of route? What is the meaning of route? Right. Use your dictionaries. Okay. Let's look at the Frog Creek Trail. Let's look at the Frog Creek Trail. So the Frog Creek Trail is shown by a thick white line, a thin white line, and a thick white line. So that's the pattern, right? So let's find Frog Creek Trail on the map here, and I can see a path to go somewhere. Pretty good. Excellent, right? So Frog Creek Trail would be shown by this arrow here, and I see some white lines, a thick line and a thin line. So if you wanted to start to go on to Frog Creek Trail, you would start on this arrow right here, and that would take you up this way. You follow my mouse, you follow my cursor, going up that way. It will take you past the bird sanctuary, past the big tree, and then that will take you to Frog Creek Trail. All right, good. Let's see the time level and description for Frog Creek Trail. So Frog Creek Trail is gonna take you 3 hours, guys. Oh, a path to go somewhere. A way of course taken in getting from a starting point to a destination. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Excellent work. All right. That's the meaning of route. Some people say route. So Frog Creek Trail will take you 3 hours. Let's look at the difficulty level for Frog Creek Trail. It says medium. So Frog Creek Trail is more difficult than the bird walk, but it's less difficult than the lookout station hike. Also notice that there's no wheelchair access for the Frog Creek Trail. If you are in a wheelchair, you're not going to be able to do Frog Creek Trail. Okay? And for the description of Frog Creek Trail, it says hike to Frog Creek picnic area. Oh, okay. Hike to Frog Creek picnic area. So if you were hiking, that would take you up to Frog Creek Trail and you can have the picnic area there. Well, you can have a picnic there in the picnic area. Yes, that's correct. All right. Okay, good. So let's go to Frog Creek Trail. Let's look at that again. It says, well, it's denoted, it's shown by the white and thin white lines. The thick and thin white lines. It's going to take you 3 hours. It's a medium level of difficulty. And to describe Frog Creek Trail, you're going to take a hike to Frog Creek. That's going to take you to the picnic area. All right, good. And finally, let's take a look at the Lookout Hill Circle. And that is denoted, that is shown by the thick black and thin black lines. Right? Okay? So we have the Lookout Hill Circle. We have the black lines there. A black line, a fat black line, and a thin black line. Right? So that is gonna be, where is that line? Lookout Hill Circle. Do they mean a continuous line? I think they meant a continuous black line. Yeah, Lookout Hill Circle. Okay. Yeah. So this would be this line here. And this line would follow that way. Okay. I imagine that would be the longest trail to take because it looks really long. Right? It does. Look how long that hike takes, guys. It takes 5 hours to do that trail. Because that's, you could see from the graphic that that is the longest line on the map. So if you were to take that arrow there, this black line, that is the longest line to take. North, yeah, good. North. Yeah, so on a map, this is a revision of the cardinal points. Cardinal points, we have north, and we have west, we have east and south. Okay, so we need to know where west is, where east is, and south. So when you're using a map, it's very, very useful. I think it's one of the most important things when you're traveling or using a map. You need to know where north is because that's going to help you navigate and make sure and ensure that you are on the right path at all times. Okay? I guess you guys would learn that in Scouts, or you guys still have Scouts in school, right? I know with coronavirus and everything, but I'm sure if you guys are in Scouts, you would learn that stuff, right? Oh, for Lookout Hill Circle, let's look at the level of difficulty for Lookout Hill Circle. It says medium difficulty, medium level difficulty, right? Medium level difficulty. So again, I guess it's just as difficult as Frog Creek Trail, because Frog Creek Trail has medium difficulty, and Lookout Hill Circle is medium difficulty. And the only trail with wheelchair access is the Bird Walk. Right? Okay. Let's look at the description for Lookout Hill Circle. So for Lookout Hill Circle, it's a hike around Lookout Hill to the Old Rock Fort. Again, description for Lookout Hill Circle. It is a hike around Lookout Hill to the Old Rock Fort. So let's take a look at the map. So you will start on this arrow here. You would take a walk or a hike up this way in a northern direction. Now we know where north is. You are going around Lookout Hill, right? And that's going to take you to the Old Rock Fort up here. I guess you could spend some time there. And then it's quite a long way back though, past the picnic area, past the big tree. This tree is really interesting here. They didn't mention that, but okay, right? Past the bird sanctuary, and that's going to take you back to your starting point, right? So that is your map. So when you're using a map, or if you get a graphic illustration in the exam with a map, well, with a map, look at the map key. That's what it is. Look at your map key, right? And really spend some time to analyze and understand. You're not going to take the entire exam to do this because I'm doing it in real detail here, okay? But you may get a map, and the key is very important. Probably the most important thing, right? When using a map, because the key would show you how to use the map and navigate and understand the symbols and the directions in the map, what everything means in the map, okay? All maps should have a key, actually. All maps should have a key. It's a little bit like, this would be geography, right? Okay. So they are testing you. They want to say, well, we want to ensure that if you get a map, you can use the map, right? These are some examples. Somebody said it was a telescope here. Yeah, I believe that. It looks like a telescope here. So Lookout Hill, right? This hike, they give you a couple of things on the left here. It says you are in charge. You are in charge. That's one thing, right? It says hiking is fun and good exercise, which is very true, right? Hiking is fun and good exercise, which is very true. I know you guys are studying a lot online and in front of computers or other electronic devices a lot. Please get your exercise. It's very important to stay fit and healthy, okay? Right. And finally, it says, oh, keep physically fit. Yeah, hiking does help you keep physically fit. And finally, it says, see interesting things. See interesting things. Right. Check this out. It says, explore Lookout Hill. Now, the map and map key for Lookout Hill show you how you can choose the day hike that you would like best and see the kind of things you can see and do. I'll read that again. Explore Lookout Hill. The map and map key for Lookout Hill show you how you can choose the day hike that you would like best and the kinds of things you can see and do. All right. So I think, oh, they gave you a source. So this is taken from TIMSS 2007 assessment. Okay. So this is actually where this flyer was taken from. And this, I guess this is a real place. Yeah. Right. It's not a made up place. It's a real place. Right. Because it actually took it from, it was published by the International Study Center, Lynn School of Education, Boston College. Right. Okay. So even if it's not a real place, this is an actual study that they did, probably in helping students understand how to use maps. Okay. So I think we understand the graphic, right? If you understand the graphic, put 111 in the chat. I think we spoke a lot about the graphic, put 111 in the chat if you understand the graphic representation. But because we are now going to answer the questions, right? And remember, when we get the questions, we may need to refer back to the graphic itself, okay? Right? So if we need to look for something, we can find it because we are now so familiar with the graphic, okay? Let's look at the question, guys. Awesome. You guys are free to write in the chat, right? So question, so look out hill flyer. So number 39, let me zoom in for you. Number 39. And it says number 39 because this is task 6. This is task 6 in your SCA exam, right? So this is actually the last thing you're going to be doing, but last part of the exam, the graphic representation. So that's why it says number 39 and not number 1, right? So from the flyer, identify 2 benefits of hiking. Again, from the flyer, identify 2 benefits of hiking. Right? Okay. So we're now going to look back to the flyer and find 2 benefits of hiking. Now, what are benefits? What is the meaning of the word benefits? Right? What does, use the dictionaries, what does benefit mean? What does benefit mean? What does that mean? They're asking us, what are 2 benefits of hiking? But what does benefit mean? All right, try to answer in the chat, okay? And try to write clearly and with proper spelling. No, this is language, guys, so, you know. Right? So, benefits of hiking. I'll get the answers, but I want you to really understand what does benefit mean, because it's kind of a question that comes up a lot, right? In different papers. What are the benefits of this? What are the advantages of these things? What would be the disadvantages of these things? Kind of asks that a lot. So someone says benefit is an advantage or profit gained from something. Good, we could work with that. That's correct. Good, we could work with that. So why is hiking benefiting you? 2 benefits of hiking, right? Or why is hiking beneficial, which would be the adjective. So 2 benefits of hiking. Well, we can say a lot of things, right? Right? We can say a lot of things. I see a lot of things here, right? I probably would give you all the answers because they asked for 2, but I think I see more than 2 here, right? I think I see more than 2 here, right? Okay. Where is that now? Any benefits of hiking we see? So from the flyer, we can see that hiking is fun. You see here, hiking is fun. That's one benefit, right? That's one benefit. Hiking is fun. We also see that hiking is good exercise. So hiking is fun and hiking is good exercise. Those are 2 benefits right there, right? And that can be your 2 marks. So you can actually get 2 marks right there by looking at that. But there are a couple more, and I want to be thorough. So you can write hiking is fun and hiking is good exercise, and that would be your 2 marks, but I'm going to show you all because students are different and you may see something or you may want to write something different from another student. So I'm going to try to write all the answers, right, to accommodate everyone. So hiking is fun and good exercise. We can also see that hiking keeps you physically fit. Hiking keeps you physically fit, right? That's another benefit, okay? Also, hiking allows you to see interesting things. So when you go on a hike, you're gonna find things, you're gonna go to a place where I guess, vehicles would not be able to take you. You would actually have to walk there and see it for yourself. You can't go in a car and just pass by and look at it, right? It would be difficult to get to that place and you need to walk there. And you're only able to walk if you are fit. As we saw that some of the trails, some of the hiking trails have different degrees of difficulty. So hiking allows you to see different things or see interesting things, right? What about the title of the graphic art? It says, or the graphic representation, it says Lookout Hill. That's the name of the entire area. And it says a hike full of adventures. A hike full of adventures. So when you are hiking, you can experience adventure. Okay? When you are hiking, you can experience adventure. Right? So that is actually in the title. So some student may write the advantages here. They might write this advantage or this benefit. They might write this benefit. And another person might want to write this benefit here. Okay? And we can see also that when you hike, when you're on this hike, you see a lot of birds and animals. You can see the bird sanctuary. I'm sure you're going to see some birds you've never seen before, right? If you take a hike along the Caroni River, there are some tours there. You can see, of course, our scarlet ibis, the national bird, but I'm sure you're going to see a lot of other birds and other animals that you wouldn't really see every day. Of course, there is the Emperor Valley Zoo. Okay, I think they have a bird. Of course, they do. They have a bird section, right? I remember seeing the flamingos last time I went there. And there's also the Wildfowl Trust, right? The Wildfowl Trust, the points up here, Wildfowl Trust. So I'm just telling you guys because this is actually a real thing going on, right? And people like to see that bird watching, right? So you're going to see a lot of different animals, birds and animals when you go on hikes. And finally, I would say that when you hike, you can enjoy nature, right? You can enjoy nature, right? So the question says, where's the question? Oh, question says, from the flyer, identify 2 benefits of hiking, right? Identify 2 benefits of hiking. So I'm going to write them in the chat actually today, right? Exercise and to have fun. You see interesting things. So I'm going to say 2 benefits of hiking. I'm going to write them all in the chat, right? 2 benefits of hiking. Oh, I'll write them here. Right, so everybody can benefit, right? So yeah, you guys got that right, but I'm just writing them all. So like I said, different students write different things. They might want to write different things. So I'm writing it all for everyone to see all the answers, all the possible answers. So benefits of hiking are without a colon. 1 would be enjoyment. We have 2, we have fun. 3, we have good exercise. 4 would be keeps you physically fit. 5 would be see interesting things. 6, experience. I'm just going to go through them again. Experience adventure. That was in the title. Experience adventure. 7 would be see birds and animals. See birds and animals, and 8 would be to enjoy nature, right? So benefits of hiking are 1, enjoyment, 2, fun, 3, good exercise, 4, keeps you physically fit, 5, see interesting things, 6, experience adventure, 7, see birds and animals, and 8, enjoy nature, right? So those answers are in the chat there, right? I wrote all of them, so when you guys are looking at this video, you can get your answers right there, right? Awesome. Let's go to number 40. So once you wrote any of those two, you will get them right. You will get your 2 marks. Awesome. Right? So let's look at number 40, right? It says 2 attractions. Name 2 attractions at Lookout Hill. Name 2 attractions at Lookout Hill. So attractions refer to the things that, would attract people to go there. Things that you should do. Things that Lookout Hill offers that would be very interesting to you. So it says name 2 attractions of Lookout Hill. Well, there are quite many. There are quite a few, right? Quite a few attractions on Lookout Hill, right? Okay, right? So the attractions of Lookout Hill, they will have names, okay? So we need to name 2 attractions at Lookout Hill. So when you go to Lookout Hill, you can go to this place, you can hike to this place, you can hike to this place, you can hike to this place. So the attractions in Lookout Hill would be, let's start from the top. There is Old Rock Fort. Old Rock Fort. That really reminds me of Fort George, right? Old Rock Fort. Then we have the Lookout Hill Station. Those are 2 right there. Those are 2 right there. There's also the Bird Sanctuary, right? There's also the Bird Sanctuary down here. And of course, Frog Creek on the left. So if you would have included any of those 2, you would have gotten your marks, right? You would have gotten your marks right there. The view, I wouldn't say the view. What view exactly? The general view? Well, when they say the attractions, they want you to name the attractions. So you need to give a name, right? So name 2 attractions. So I would say attractions, right? If I say attractions at Lookout Hill, attractions at Lookout Hill include, there are actually 4 of them actually. I don't think the picnic area is one too. I don't think the picnic area is much of an attraction. I guess if it's very, very, it's at a location where it's very interesting, and that location is Frog Creek. Okay, so attractions at Lookout Hill include 1, there is Old Rock Fort. There's Old Rock Fort. There is the Lookout Hill Station. There's the Lookout Hill Station. There is 3, the Bird Sanctuary, of course. I would be interested in that. If, for real, I like that, right? The Bird Sanctuary and Frog Creek. I don't know if Frog Creek actually has frogs. Didn't really say. I'm sure it does. Okay. So attractions at Lookout Hill include Old Rock Fort, 1, 2, Lookout Hill Station, right? 3, the Bird Sanctuary, and number 4, Frog Creek. Right? So your answers are in the chat right there. Okay? Right? So if you would have written any 2 of those, you have been okay to get your marks there. How many marks would that be? I'm guessing it would be 2. Yeah. So 2 marks. So you would get a mark for each attraction. Do you understand? You would get a mark for each attraction. Any of those 2, you have been okay to get your 2 marks there. All right. Let's look at number 41. Number 41 asks, give 2 reasons for including the map key on the flyer. Give 2 reasons for including the map key on the flyer. The map key on the flyer, right? Well, what is the map key? Let's go back. The map key, right? So this is the map key. Now, why is having the map key important on the flyer? We spoke about that before, right? You guys remember what I was saying, right? Okay, why is the map key important on the flyer? Well, we were saying that it increases the understanding of the map. Every map should have a key, because on the map you're going to use different colors, different symbols, different lines, different pictures, different directions. You need to know where north is, right? So the map key is, I guess, the most important thing you need to use to understand the map. Okay, right? The cardinal points, the north, will not be on the map key. That will actually be on the map itself. But the map key, that's why I call it the key, right? That's why I call it the key, right? Because it is the key to understand the map. Do you understand? Right? It is the key to understand the map, right? So when we look at the map key, right, it helps us to understand the map. That's one thing for sure. And also, we saw in the map that they gave us the levels of each hike. They gave us the description for each hike, right? Okay, right? And they also gave us the time for each hike. Do you understand? So we saw here that the map key actually gave us an understanding of the map, a better understanding of the map, and they also gave us additional information, more information. They gave us information that we would not normally find on the map, and things we would not even know if we just look at the map. Okay? So the map key gives you additional information, right? In this case, it was time and level. So just by looking at the picture of the map, you cannot know that there was wheelchair access. Would you have known that? Would you have known that there was wheelchair access on the birdwalk? You wouldn't have known that. But the map key showed us that, right? So the map key gave us additional information, right? Also, the map key can help visitors select the best hike suited for them and their purpose. Okay, so if you want to decide and choose a hike, let's say you want to go on easy hike, you're not that much of a hiker, or you have someone in your family, or you are on a wheelchair, the only hike you could take, guys, would be the bird walk. That's the only hike you could take, right? If you are an experienced hiker and you really want to take, want to challenge yourself, right? The lookout station hike would be that hike to challenge you. So the map key tells you those things. You would not normally see those things on the what do you call it? The map itself. You would normally see those things on the map itself. Do you understand? If you guys are understanding this, put a 111 in the chat for me. I want you guys to understand. You guys can ask questions, of course. Right? Okay? Right? Yeah? Everybody okay? So put a 111 in the chat if you understand. I don't want to leave anyone behind. I know it's being recorded, but I do like a live class. I do love a live class and I like the interaction. All right. Okay. Yeah, 111. Okay, cool, awesome. So we can say, right, the map key, the question is give two reasons, right? Give two reasons, number 41. It says give two reasons for including the map key on the flyer. Give two reasons for including the map key on the flyer, right? And you can say reasons, right, for including the map key are, I'm going to list them, 1, you can say that it helps you to understand the map more, helps you to understand the map more. Two, it would be it adds more information or additional information about the map, right? Three, it helps visitors choose, right, which hike is best for them, right? Helps visitors choose which hike is best for them. So reasons for including the map key are: one, helps you to understand the map more; two, add more information about the map; and three, helps visitors choose which hike is best for them, right? Okay, so I'm writing that in the chat there, and when you look at this video again, you can find the answers right there next to you, right? Okay, right? All right, so I think everybody's okay with this here, right? Let's go on to the next question, right? Let's say number 42 says, identify 2 reasons why a person may want to visit Lookout Hill, right? Identify 2 reasons why a person may want to visit Lookout Hill. We're looking for. Okay. So you have 2 marks there, right? So you need to get 2 reasons. So you're going to be a mark per reason, right? It's going to be a mark per reason. Okay. So let's think about this. Let's think about this one. Why would a person want to visit Lookout Hill? Why would a person want to visit Lookout Hill? Right? Let's go back to the illustration, the graphic representation. Well, a person may be interested because they want to have physical activities such as hiking, walking, right? They may want to do sightseeing, S-I-T-E, right? S-I-T-E. They may want to enjoy nature and animal watching because you're going to see a lot of nature, right? And you're going to see a lot of animals like the bird sanctuary and Frog Creek. And people generally take hikes to relax. And also, remember, there is a picnic area. Okay, so if you want to have a picnic, you can go to this hike. You can go on the Lookout Hill hike, right? Okay, so that would be your answers for that there, right? The question is, again, what is the question? Identify 2 reasons why a person may want to visit Lookout Hill, right? Okay, so a person may want to visit, Lookout Hill, or should say reasons a person may want to visit Lookout Hill are, and I'm going to list them. It'll be one, physical activity and exercise. You can use this as an exercise. 2, they can do sightseeing. 3, they can enjoy nature and bird watching, or I should say animal watching, because there's Frog Creek, right? Animal watching. 4, right? We want to relaxation. And 5, have a picnic. Right? So reasons a person may want to visit Lookout Hill are: 1, physical activity and exercise; 2, sightseeing; 3, enjoy nature and animal watching, relaxation; and 5, have a picnic. Alright. Okay, so are the answers there in the chat there? Right? Do you agree with this? Do you have any comments on this? Comments, queries, concerns? So if you would have written any two there, you'd have gotten your mark. If you have written any two there, you would have gotten your mark. Oh, we just have one more question left. This is number 43. So number 43 says, this flyer includes several features. Which feature on the flyer appeals to you the most? Give a reason for your choice. Okay, so again, it says, this flyer includes several features. Which feature on the flyer appeals to you most? Give a reason for your choice. Right? Or no questions? Okay. All right, good. Right? So when they said that, right, why do you like this map? Is the map interesting to you? Do you like the pictures? Do you like any of the attractions? Do you like the map key? Is it helpful to you? Do you find anything interesting in this map? Okay, so the map has the pictures, the map key, the title, the descriptions. What do you like about this map? And anyone can answer. This is kind of a what you would say like an opinionated question, an inferential question. So every student is going to have a different answer, right? Okay, so I want you to tell me something about this map that you like, basically, right? Something about this map that you like and may actually be a reason you would want to go on this hike. Right? So what would be a reason you would want to go on this hike? Anything interesting to you? Or do you like the map? Do you like the pictures shown on the map? Do you like any of the attractions? If you would want to go to a place on the map, where would you go? Would you go to the picnic area? Would you go to the Frog Creek? Would you go to the bird sanctuary? Would you go to the Lookout Hill Station and see the view? Or would you take the long hike and go to Old Rock Fort? So talk to me. What do you like about this map? And are there any interesting places you would choose? Any attraction you would choose on this map? All right, so I'll give you guys like a 2 minutes to check that out. All right. Do you find anything interesting on this map? I found the Old Rock Fort interesting. Yeah, me too. I also found it interesting. Right. I keep saying it reminds me of Fort George. Right? It reminds me of Fort George. Okay, Deandra. So why do you find it interesting? Do you think that that's a place you'd want to go? That's your hike? Right? Why do you find it interesting? Well, Fort George, not Fort George, Old Rock Fort says that you can hike around Lookout Hill, right? And yeah, you can hike around Lookout Hill. That is actually the longest hike, right? That is actually the longest hike. That's 5 hours. It's medium difficulty, so I'm sure you're gonna get some exercise, right? It's not that easy, but I'm sure it's gonna be worth it in the end. Someone says, I like the Frog Creek because it sounds interesting and sound like a calm place. Yeah. It sounds like a calm place for you. Also, I agree with you. I like the fact that the picnic area is there. So I guess it really is calm. And when you want to have a picnic, you want to be in a kind of quiet place, I guess. So I like how they have that available to you. So if you go to Frog Creek, you could actually have a picnic there one time. Right? Okay. Right. So we can say we could break it up into different places, right? You can say, for example, the Old Rock Fort. The Old Rock Fort. But the question is reason, feature. Okay, So we can say feature the old rock fort. The old rock fort, right? And I would say reason. The reason would be provides good exercise and a great view, right? Provides good exercise and provides a great view. Right. Okay. Sorry, let me go back up to the map. Right. If you go to Frog Creek, to the feature for Frog Creek, you can say Frog Creek would be the feature. Frog Creek. And reason, Frog Creek would be medium difficulty hike. A medium difficulty hike to provide good exercise, and a quiet place to have a picnic. A quiet place to have a picnic. Right? Right? How long is Frog Creek? Right. For 3 hours. No. The picnic will last 3 hours. The hike will last 3 hours. Right? Okay. Right? Good. And a quiet place to have a picnic. Alright. I like Frog Creek. Why do you like Frog Creek? Why do you like Frog Creek? Right. Okay. Why do you like Frog Creek? Right. Anybody for the bird sanctuary? Why would you want to go to the bird sanctuary? Let's talk about the bird sanctuary now. If you were to choose the bird sanctuary, let's say we're talking about the bird sanctuary feature. Why would you choose the bird sanctuary? What's your reason for choosing the bird sanctuary? If you were to choose the bird sanctuary, let's say someone in your family really wants to go to the bird sanctuary. Why do you think they would want to go there? You just need to pick one feature, you know. I'm kind of doing all because people have different likes and dislikes and stuff. So I'm trying to accommodate everybody. So let's focus on the bird sanctuary. So let's look at the feature of the bird sanctuary. Why would you think somebody would want to go to the bird sanctuary? So I'm writing bird sanctuary. And reasons, my question to you now, why would somebody want to go to the bird sanctuary? Right? Why would somebody want to go to the bird sanctuary? Reason for bird sanctuary. It would be, any ideas? Look at the map. The bird sanctuary, there's a short hike. It's only 2 hours long. A short hike that is easy, right? And has wheelchair access, right? And has wheelchair access, right? Okay. That would be a reason for doing the bird sanctuary hike. Okay, so the bird sanctuary is a short hike that is easy and has wheelchair access. You could see the birds that you never saw before. Yes, great. And you can see the birds you never saw before. and you can see birds you have never seen before. Right? So reason for bird sanctuary, a short hike that is easy and has wheelchair access, and you see birds. You can see birds that you have never seen before, and you can see birds that you have never seen before. Because some people find birds interesting and see the colorful birds. Yep, all those would be reasons for the bird sanctuary. Okay, so reason for bird sanctuary is short hike that is easy and has wheelchair access, and you can see birds you have never seen before. So you just needed to pick one, right? You don't need to pick all of them. Just need to pick one. I just went through all of them, right? Okay, right? I would not like to go on the Lookout Hill Station hike because that's the hardest hike. I probably may go to the bird sanctuary hike to start off with, which is easy, and then I would go to the more medium hikes like Frog Creek and the Lookout Hill circle, and then I would go to the Lookout Station hike. Right? And that, I believe, that brings us to the end of this graphic representation. It says end of test here because that's the end of the whole paper. Right? If we're just looking at the paper with respect to the graphic representation. Right? And that brings us to the end of this class. So how is everybody? Is this class easy? You guys understand? Please leave a like, and if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe. Okay? Right? Please leave a like to the video. I hope this was educational for you, and of course this will be posted on the channel under the live section, right, under SEA Revision Language Arts, and you can look at this video again on your own time, right? So hope everybody is okay. I'm gonna stay on a couple of minutes in case you guys have any questions at all, right? In case you have any questions at all, right? If you want to be part of the classes during the week, you can call or WhatsApp that number there, 1-868-713-6860. We have mathematics past papers on Monday from 9 to 10. Tuesdays, mathematics past papers as well. Right? You're looking at past paper questions, especially the more difficult ones. Wednesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 10 p.m. we're doing creative writing, and reports are going very good. I think everybody is improving. Right? Everybody's improving and getting their marks gradually up. Okay, so if you want to be part of that, please WhatsApp or call 1-868-713-6860. Right? Okay, bye. Good work today. Right? So I'm just gonna stay on a couple of minutes in case anyone has any questions. Right? Or you could always call or WhatsApp 1-868-713-6860. Good work today, guys. That's the information there. We have creative writing masterclass, mathematics, language arts, and masterclass de Espanol. You could also email primaryschoolmasterclass@yahoo.com. We are on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page, and we are also on TikTok. If you found this video helpful to you, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel and share with someone that you think would benefit from the information shared in this video. So thank you for everyone for being on this call. We really appreciate you. And I could see from this call that all the students have benefited. So again, thank you and have a blessed day. Bye for now.